Mirrors have had superstition and myths tied to them for as long as they've been around. The ancient Romans believed that they reflected a person's soul and could bring great strife if they were misused. That they can suck out one's soul, be portents of death, or offer glimpses into some other dimension. In many cultures, mirrors are used for communication with spirits, and it is believed they serve as portals or doorways to the spirit world, that they are some barrier between the world of the living and that of the dead, through that veil that separates us. Haunted mirrors are common around the world, and there are various cultures that follow the superstition of covering mirrors at certain times, in particular after death, in order to prevent whatever it is on the other side from coming through, or even to stop a soul from becoming trapped within the mirror. The following is a true story about a mirror in an old wardrobe that haunted 2 generations. Shortly after the death of Tim Corvina's grandmother, he found that he had inherited her old wardrobe. The origin of the large wardrobe was unknown, but it was thought to be early 19th century and to have been a wedding present to the grandmother many decades ago. It was placed in the second bedroom of Tim and wife Judy's house, which for a time doubled as the nursery for the couple's newborn son. They had not long moved into their new house and had hardly any furniture, so the wardrobe was a welcome addition. Once or twice while attending to her son, Judy noticed an odd shimmering light coming from the wardrobe's mirrored door. Unable to find its source, she thought nothing more about it. The weeks passed without any further incident. One morning, Judy entered the room and had completely forgotten about her initial experience with this shimmering light. She had just finished vacuuming when she glanced at the mirror and noticed that it was again shimmering. The curtains were closed, so there could have been no reflection coming from the window. On this occasion, the glow from the wardrobe seemed brighter and gave the appearance of light coming from deep inside the mirror, rather than light being cast upon it. In a trance-like state, she approached the mirror and watched in amazement as the shimmering became brighter, and she slowly watched her own image becoming faint as swirling colours slowly engulfed her reflection. As she was now entranced by the mirror, she could see another image emerging through a maze of multicoloured light. An image then started to form of an old woman wearing a white hat with pale yellow hair, wearing a high-necked dress. The woman had a kind face with tired-looking eyes set in a distant gaze. To Judy, she looked like a hologram portrait trapped inside a mirror. As she continued to look at the woman in the mirror, the eyes had suddenly turned towards her, which unnerved Judy so much that she ran out of the room terrified. She not only ran out of the room, but left the house trying to rid herself of the memory of the frightening experience. She walked aimlessly around shops until closing time, until she felt it was safe to go home, where her husband Tim would have arrived home. After explaining to her husband her terrifying ordeal, he ran upstairs to check the mirror for himself and was initially reticent upon entering the bedroom, but found all was normal. They decided to discuss Judy's experience with Tim's mother, who recalled her initial experience she'd had when she was 10 years old, and brought memories flooding back. The wardrobe had been in her brother Wayne's bedroom, and one day, as they were going out, he asked her to run upstairs and grab his jacket from the wardrobe. As she was grabbing the jacket, she noticed a shimmering light coming from the mirror. This description matched Judy's story exactly. His mother then claimed to have seen a young girl in the mirror walking down the street, who then stopped to talk to an elderly couple who were mowing their lawn. She realised that the young girl was herself, and the elderly couple were her neighbours. She suddenly recalled the street scene she was viewing in the mirror had occurred some 5 years previously. It was like a vivid coloured TV image of a life in the mirror. After the incident, whilst walking down the street with her brother Wayne, she told him what had happened, where he then described his own weird experience with the wardrobe when he too had seen visions and witnessed ghostly visitations at night who would regularly spend time preening themselves in front of the mirror. She said that when Wayne joined the army, she would sit for hours in front of the mirror waiting for the next vision and feeling depressed about the war. One day she was cleaning her brother's bedroom in preparation for his return and noticed the shimmering coming from the mirror. She approached the mirror anxious to see what would be revealed. What appeared to her was a battle scene with people running around in uniform amongst smoke and gunfire. They were American troops, and suddenly the image of a soldier appeared, which she suddenly realised was Wayne. It was a full-on battle scene with tanks and gunfire. Wayne was running with the other soldiers when his image became lost in the smoke. As the smoke cleared, she could see that he'd been wounded and was staggering and fell forward. She then realised that he'd passed away. All the visions up to that moment had been pleasant, but had now become a nightmare. She was hoping that what she had seen was a lie, but past experience had told her that it only showed the truth. 2 months later, her parents received notice of her brother's passing. From that moment on, she said she resented the mirror and never again went near it. It was not until many decades after that event that the story Judy had told proved the mirror was still active. However, when Judy asked her about the old woman, Tim's mother could not identify her.